So Coach Prime said something that not only shocked the media, but majority of them actually agree with him. So it's kind of crazy to see the reactions because I don't think I've seen this much praise for Coach Prime post a press conference than I've seen since he first started the job at Colorado. So let's dive into what Coach Prime said and what it means for everybody because I think it's a big deal. We'll dive into it here on the Prime Time for College Football. So we ain't got to bury the lead. First and foremost, Coach Prime jumped up and he announced the spring game. The spring game dates have been announced for Colorado, April 19th at 2:30 Mountain Time, and it'll be televised on ESPN2. So you all know that that's going to get some high ratings because, ESPN loves Coach Prime and what he does, and they're going to be pumping the heck out of it. And I know that you all are going to be tuned in because I sure as heck will be as well. But it's cool because Coach Prime dove into the spring game. So let me let y'all hear what he said, and I'm going to tell y'all what made the media lose their mind in a good way.
Spring game will be televised. ESPN2 will broadcast spring game on the 19th. We got to sell this thing out and pack this thing because the way the trend is going, you never know if this is going to be the last spring game. I don't believe in that. I don't really want to condone that. I would like to play the spring. Actually, I like to play against another team in the spring. That's what I'm trying to do right now, to have it competitive. Playing against your own guys kind of get monotonous, and you really can't tell the level of your guys because, it's the same old. Everybody kind of know each other towards the end. I would like to style it like the pros. I would like to practice against someone for a few days, then you have the spring game. And I think the public will be satisfied with that tremendously. I think it's a tremendous idea. Yeah, I've told those personnel who should understand that it's a tremendous idea.
So you heard from Coach Prime first, right there on the spot. He says spring game's going to happen, and he would like to do something that nobody else has ever done before. And I'm actually surprised no one else has even tried this. He wants to scrimmage another team. Similar to what the NFL does in training camp, they actually bring another NFL team in their practice. I mean, I think it was the Panthers that was getting into fights with the Chargers or something like that years ago because of the practices at one point. But that's what the NFL does. Teams will come in, they'll practice, and Coach Prime wants to bring that type of thing here. And when he said that, I was like, yeah, that would be great. I'm surprised colleges doesn't try that. I mean, there's so many colleges close by that you can do that and be able to work against each other. I'm truly shocked that other schools haven't considered this. Now, granted, they probably have. We just haven't heard about it. But why is this a big deal, though? You're probably asking me, okay, you're making a video about this. Why is it such a big deal? Well, spring practices have become a massive conversation piece over the last few weeks. First off, Nebraska's Matt Rule, the rival, he came in, and I guess you could say people said he was whining about it, but he was saying that he's canceling his spring game because people be trying to poach his players. And because folks be trying to poach his players, he's like, I'm not trying to deal with that. I'm not trying to, have my third string guy be tampered with, because they get to see him in a couple of drills and say, oh, I think he's got some potential. I'm not saying it's actually happening. I'm just telling you what Matt Rule told the people. Then you had Texas cancel theirs, and you had a few other schools. Oklahoma's moving to more of a combine type setup instead of an actual game. But then you have others that are like, nah, the foundation of college football has always been the spring game and playing in a spring game or doing something in the spring. And so they're going to continue that tradition. And so I totally understand it. And I understand schools thinking of making a change because of the landscape of college football changing so much. But when Coach Prime said that they're playing the spring game, given those dates, and he wants to practice against another team, that just adds another level that nobody else has done. Josh Pate tweeted about it. Saw him throw a tweet out there. I've seen different journalists and reporters go out and say, yep, Coach Prime is right on this one. This is definitely a dub for Coach Prime. Definitely a dub for Deion Sanders, because that would add an interesting wrinkle. Like I said, that brings an NFL type mentality to college. And I think it's something that everyone should truly consider. Now I ask you all this. Hop in the comments. Who do you think Colorado should actually have as an opponent in the spring game? Who should they come out and have a practice with and do a scrimmage with? Love to hear your thoughts. Because what Prime basically, and he said in the video that it gets a little, monotonous going up against your own guys all the time. And sometimes you need to shake it up, and really try to pull out the best out of your players. And one of the best way of doing that is to actually have a spring game that involves some sort of a practice. Just bring a different opposition and you can think about it. Now, I say that you don't want to do it to where you're playing somebody you'll probably see, through the season, because you don't want to give them a little sneak preview of what you're doing. But I think it would be cool if they bring in like a Division II team, someone local. Northern Colorado, something. There's probably some schools around that would make sense. You definitely don't want to do Colorado State. You never want to play a rival because that game's going to be intense already. But that would intrigue me to see who could Coach Prime get, because he said he's working on it. So that means that there's a possibility that Colorado is going to have to be actually practicing with someone during their spring game. And if he brings that fruition, man, that'd be dope. Because it's still a controlled scrimmage. It's not like they're going to be playing an actual quote-unquote game. It's still a controlled environment. But the goal is to be able to go out there and go full speed. Now, I am curious to how they're going to do the quarterbacks. Are the quarterbacks still going to wear the jerseys where if they get touched, they're automatically down to prevent them from getting hit? Who's going to be the first one to kind of go a little too far and hit somebody? There's a lot of variables here, but my whole point is I'm curious to see if he can make this happen. So I do want to hear from you all on that. I do like seeing that Colorado's still going to have the spring game, and I love that it's going to be televised. Shout out to Prime and the Prime effect and how everyone is seeing. And, we all know that Prime is a big deal, and that's the most important part for here with the Buffs. This is week 2 of spring practice. Spring break is coming up, so we expect a lot of things to go down. Happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm hoping you all are enjoying the day and getting in and getting some fun in. So we'll dive into the roster, do some roster breakdowns and everything soon, and figure out what we feel about each player. And we'll catch up with y'all later.